Good morning, everyone. My name is Rebecca, along with the guidance of Pavitra Thangaselvan. Today, I will be presenting the study. The title of the study is The Impact of Simultaneous Bilingualism on Early Literacy Development, a study on 2 to 4-year-old children in home and school contexts in Oman. Um, for the study will be focusing on the bilingual exposure and how it enhances phonological awareness in Omani children aged 2 to 4-year-olds, and vocabulary growth differs between Arabic and English, and it also highlight the need for culturally responsive bilingual programs. When we look at the global trends in the English language and how it has a clear influence in Oman, English is increasingly viewed not just as a subject but as a key learning for an early age because they believe that it offers academic and career advantages. This growing demand is also supported by the government initiatives. Since the 1970s, Oman has undergone major educational reforms, including the introduction of the CCC model, which is communication, culture, and context, to improve English instruction. These efforts reflect a national commitment to preparing students for a multilingual, interconnected world. When we look at the theories and approaches to bilingualism, different scholars have approached bilingualism in unique ways. Wainwright described it as the alternate use of two languages, meaning a bilingual person switches between languages depending on the context. In contrast, Bloomfield set a higher bar, defining bilingualism as the ability to use two languages with native-like fluency. In practical settings, especially in bilingual homes, one common strategy that is used is the OPAL method, one parent, one language, where each parent consistently speaks a different language to the child. While this method can support language separation, it not only allows it's not always easy to maintain, especially in households where one language dominates or when children interact in mixed language settings. When we look at the research objectives, the study focuses on the bilingualism and the early childhood learning. So, this explores how bilingualism affects early literacy development in young children. It looks at whether growing up with two languages influences how children recognize sounds, build vocabulary, or learn and read compared to monolingual peers. To understand this better, I also compared the developmental parts of monolingual and bilingual children, identifying both the advantages and the potential challenges of each. And finally, the research also examines strategies used by the caregivers and educators, such as language exposure, reading practices, and communication methods, to support bilingual learning in early childhood settings. When we look at the theoretical foundations of bilingual development, this study draws on several influential theories to understand how young children acquire and process multiple languages. First is the Krashen's theory of comprehensible input, which emphasizes that language is best learned when children hear and engage with language that is just slightly above their current level of understanding. This is especially relevant in bilingual settings where input in both languages must be meaningful and accessible. Next, Bialstock's research on cognitive flexibility suggests that bilingual children develop stronger executive function skills such as attention control, problem solving, and mental shifting because they can constantly manage two language systems. Finally, Montessori's concept of the absorbent mind highlights how children in early childhood naturally absorb information from the environment, including language, without conscious effort. Because this supports the idea that the early years are ideal for bilingual exposure, as children are especially receptive to linguistic input during this stage. When we look at the research methodology, the study uses a qualitative longitudinal design conducted over a period of 8 to 12 months. This approach allows us to observe mm, um, bilingual language and literacy development unfolds over time, capturing changes and patterns in real time context, real life context. To gather data, I use multiple tools like classroom observations to see how children interact and use language naturally, and surveys to collect insights from parents and educators, and targeted interventions to understand how specific activities influence bilingual development. The study was conducted in preschool in Muscat, providing a culturally relevant and localized understanding of bilingualism in early childhood within the Omani context. The participants for this study focused was on a small targeted group of 5 to 10 children aged 2 to 4 year olds, an age where language development is especially rapid and foundational. Participants came from a mix of Arabic dominant and bilingual households, allowing for meaningful comparisons in language exposure and development. And to ensure relevance, I selected children based on two key criteria. They had bilingual caregivers at home. For example, one parent speaking Arabic and the other English, and they were enrolled in dual language preschool, where both Arabic and English are part of daily instruction. So, this helped me understand better how consistent exposure to two languages, both at home and in school, shapes early literacy and communication skills. With regards to data collection methods, to gather meaningful insights, the study was used multiple data collection tools. First, I conducted a classroom observation using the CORT framework, which helped me systematically analyze how language is used during teacher and child interactions, peer communications, and daily activities. So, this framework focused on both form and function of language in real time settings. I also distributed surveys to parents focusing on reading habits at home and media exposure in both Arabic and English. So, this helped me understand how much language input children receive outside the classroom and in what forms. Importantly, the study focused all ethical guidelines, including obtaining informed consent from caregivers and ensuring full cultural sensitivity throughout the process. It respected Omani values, traditions, and language preferences in all interactions. The key findings with regards to language development in bilingual children um, was that the bilingualism significantly boosts phonological and metalinguistic skills in young children. This means bilingual children are better at recognizing sound patterns, manipulating language, and thinking how language works. Also, skills are foundational and skills as needed for foundational reading and literacy. However, I also observed that vocabulary development in the second language, usually English, was often slower. This was largely due to inconsistent exposure, especially in homes where Arabic remained dominant and English input varied between school and home environments. Interestingly, older children, those above age 4, showed faster and more confident progress in both languages. So, this suggests that with time, maturity, and consistent support, bilingual learners can overcome early gaps and catch up quickly. With regards to the parental involvement, at home, many families supported bilingual development through reading aloud, engaging in rhymes and songs, and having bilingual conversations in both Arabic and English. These everyday interactions played a major role in strengthening children's listening, speaking, and early literacy skills. However, parents also reported some challenges such as language mixing, where children combine words from both languages in a single sentence, and instances of delayed speech in one or both languages. These issues are common and in early bilingual development and often improve with time and consistent exposure. To support learning, families made use of digital media like bilingual cartoons and educational apps and relied on bilingual caregivers such as nannies or grandparents to reinforce both language in natural daily settings. With regards to academic and literacy trends, the study found that children generally enjoy bilingual story time and show excitement when engaging with books in both Arabic and English. However, many still struggle with literacy in their second language, L2, often English, especially in reading or recognizing written words, which may reflect limited exposure or confidence. One key factor influencing this was the availability of materials. In many homes and preschools, there were a fewer high quality bilingual books, especially those that reflect children's everyday experiences and cultural context. As a result, the study recommends the use of culturally relevant dual language books. These resources not only support language development in both languages but also helps children connect more deeply with the content, boosting motivation, comprehensive abilities, and pride in their identity. Um, to conclude, the study revealed a wide variation in language development outcomes among bilingual children. Each children progress depend on factors like home environment, consistency of exposure, age, and access to resources, showing that bilingualism is not a all journey fits all journey. One common feature across many cases was code switching. When children switch between Arabic and English in the same conversation rather than a problem, this is a normal and healthy part of bilingual development. It shows flexibility in the language use and gradually becomes more structured as children grow. Most importantly, I found that confidence and communication improved significantly when children received consistent support from caregivers, educators, and the learning environment. With the tight encouragement and exposure, children became more expressive, engaged, and comfortable in both languages. When we look at the limitations of the study, while the study provides valuable insights into early bilingual development, there are a few important limitations to note. First, is short duration, just 8 to 12 months, limited our the ability to observe long-term language and literacy outcomes. Bilingual development is a gradual process, and some changes may only become evident over several years. Second, the small sample size of 5 to 10 children means the findings can't be fully generalized to the wider Mani population. Every child's context is unique, and broader studies would be needed just for stronger conclusions. Lastly, since our focus was on preschoolers, we are unable to access academic outcomes in the middle childhood, such as how early bilingual exposure affects school performance later on. Now, to look at the implications and recommendations, the study reaffirms that bilingualism fosters not only cognitive advantages like stronger problem solving and attention skills, but also cultural growth as children learn to navigate and value two linguistic and cultural worlds. However, maintaining a healthy balance between Arabic and English is critical. While English is important for global access, Arabic remains essential for identity, family, connection, and cultural continuity. One language should not overshadow the other. To support this balance, there is a clear need for inclusive, culturally relevant bilingual curricula in preschools, along with caregiver training that helps parents and educators feel confident in nurturing both languages. When caregivers understand how to support bilingual development, children are more likely to thrive both linguistically and emotionally. So, in summary, early bilingualism supports both cognitive growth and culturally connection in young Omani children, while challenges like vocabulary gaps and code switchings do exist, they are manageable with consistent support. So, this study emphasizes the need for balanced Arabic English exposure, inclusive bilingual programs, and caregiver training. With the right environment, children can thrive as confident, capable bilingual learners. Thank you for your time and thank you for listening to the study and my presentation. Now, the floor is open for questions. Thank you.